President-elect Donald Trump has been listed as a threat to human rights by the major human rights group Human Rights Watch. They released this yearly world report about human rights concerns in more than 90 countries around the world. They are now listing President-elect Donald Trump as a threat to human rights. Of course, the Trumpists will say it's all fake news, even though this is a report that's been around for many, many years. They said, quote, Donald Trump's election as U.S. president after a campaign fomenting hatred and intolerance and the rising influence of political parties in Europe that reject universal rights have put the post-war human rights system at risk. What specifically are they referring to? Most sensible people can probably guess. Massive deportation of immigrants, curtailing women's rights, threats with regard to media freedom, threats to go back to using torture, threats to kill the families of terrorists, threats to invade countries to extort oil, confusion about why nuking Europe would be bad. Human Rights Watch actually said that some politicians in Europe that are part of the rise of the nationalist European right combined with Trump could lead to tyranny. How ironic is it that the right justifies ownership of weapons because the government might become tyrannical under, of course, Democrats and liberals and socialists and communists. And then a key human rights group says, hey, it's actually Trump who represents the risk of tyranny in the United States. And people pretend it's all politics, anything negative about Trump is just partisan. This is an organization that just looks at the facts and the statements and issues a report about that. And of course, Trump will tweet at 3 a.m. that Human Rights Watch simply can't be trusted. Nobody respects human rights more than me, folks. Nobody, trust me, or something like that. He hasn't tweeted it yet. But this is a trustworthy and reliable organization and a report that has been published for many years now with significant specificity about the threats they claim exist.
Oh, but give him a chance, David. I really agree with Bernie Sanders' take on this, which is that when it comes to trade policy, outsourcing, infrastructure, we're willing to have a discussion there. We're willing to negotiate and talk with him. But when he goes to xenophobia and racism and sexism, we're not going to have a discussion on that.
Well, we shouldn't, but that's the problem. It's scandal after scandal and insane comment after insane comment to such a degree that everything becomes normalized, where people say, well, we'll just negotiate about the Muslim ban or about whatever issue it is that we're talking about. And Trump is going to really have no option but to just slam the organization. Human Rights Watch, it's fake news set up by the Chinese to make Trump look bad. And George Soros is paying each of their employees $1,500 to write bad about Trump or something like that. I don't know how he'll explain this away, but this is a very, very serious situation that we have. And it's not just Trump, right? Trump is part of the problem, but the rise of right-wing nationalism in Europe is also part of the problem. And we've talked about that. Trump has mocked a fallen soldier's family. Trump has mocked a disabled reporter's disability. Trump bragged about sexually assaulting women. He is a threat to human rights, isn't he?
During the campaign, there was this idea that he's using this rhetoric to appeal to that group of people, but he doesn't actually believe in that. And when he's president, he's not going to put those kind of policies in place. But now when we see that there's this idea of having a Muslim registry in the works, that's very concerning.
Yeah, which he still hasn't said definitively whether it's happening or not. But we had people, advisors close to him saying, oh, yeah, they're making plans for it. It's really bad. And at a certain point, we have to believe that the candidate at least wants to do what they're saying they're going to do. I know that people say, well, he said X or Y to appeal to Group Z. That may be, but if people are voting for him for that reason, you would think that at least to some extent they would try to hold him accountable and hold him to his word and that he's going to try to do the things that he said he's going to try to do. If your only defense is Trump lied about what he was trying to do in order to get votes, all you're admitting is that you voted for a liar. And that's not really a great defense of the person that you helped elect. Thanks for watching this video. Before you watch the next one, remember, we're raising money to expand the David Pakman Show Big League, as well as expand progressive activism. Go to davidpakman.com/donate. Donations of any size are much appreciated.